flip side, down the stretch, what did you see go wrong defensively?
I think we had a little bit of we let our dopper down just a little bit in terms of some of the resistance and the transition, some of the crowds, and not an excuse, but those guys have put together a heck of an effort in the last 2 nights. Lost Julian, we were man down. I rode Fox and Steph pretty hard there in the second half. Maybe I could have got those guys out and got them a quick break, but they did a good job. They're relentless at attacking the paint. SGA and Jalen Williams, those guys, two-headed monster in terms of, imposing themselves and getting into that paint. Thought we did a good job at parts of the game making them see crowds and finding other people early, but they did do a good job as well of imposing their will in that regard.
Speaking of Julian getting tossed, what did you see on that? Did you see the replay, and what did you think of that decision?
And it happens so much now in our game. I don't know. It feels like the rule has changed maybe, but when people are aggressive, there's a lot of these incidental elbows or contact. I don't really know who's at fault, to be honest, but it just looked like that was what initiated it, and then there was some response on both ends. I didn't think much of it, and then people were just protecting their guys and whatnot, but I didn't think it was anything intentional and I didn't look at the scrum to see if they should have got thrown out or not. But the initial basketball play I did see, and just looked like Kenrich Williams was being aggressive and Julian was opening up. And I don't know if that's an offensive foul now, or I don't know where that line is of what space you're allowed.
This really tough stretch that you guys have been in for the past couple of weeks, the way games are getting away at the end, does that remind you at all to the way they did during your tough stretches last year? And is there any common thread between those, or do you see it as a completely different situation?
I don't think tonight felt like that as much of, I think we got wore down by a very, very good team. Second night of a back-to-back last night was hard fought. Like I said, a couple of those guys had very long stints in that fourth quarter, or late in the third quarter. Julian went down, we were man down. I think there was a level also of Jeremy was actually out for a second too, getting looked at. I thought they fought their butts off. Again, OKC's probably saying the same thing about us. They made a lot of shots. We made a lot of shots. And at some point, we stopped scoring a little bit, and they kind of maintained it. And then I think that's where, you have to put your energy in getting the stops and getting the rebounds and not turning the ball over, and not the makes. The makes and misses come and go. That other stuff is what compound runs.
Getting worn down, did that contribute to the, not being able to keep it up from 3-point range? You went from 16 to 2.
Yeah, I think it's all what happened first, the chicken and the egg, right? OKC gets credit. I think they picked up their defensive intensity, and I think we did a good job. I still thought we got some good shots in that second half, even early in the third quarter. That third quarter is probably the most frustrating part. That's been a thing for us now, where we come out at halftime, whether we're up or even, and teams are scoring consistently, and we got to find a way there. And even when they're not scoring, we may give up a rebound or two. And so that's just, again, when you put in so much work and then you give it back in a short amount of time, that's the stuff I think that we got to nip in the butt. And to your question earlier, Mike, that's the stuff we don't want to sustain that we had in that little bit of a stretch previously.
How you've deployed and used De'Aaron since he's been here, I guess, especially since Victor has been out. Is that how you foresee using him the rest of these next 6-7 weeks, or is that kind of evolve during that time?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of evolution here, obviously, and we've done some different things with him, even in terms of sometimes he's playing 2 longer stints, sometimes he's playing 3. We've played him, I think, more with certain combinations as of late than early on. And we just got him. We had our first practice 2 days ago with him. This is his first home game. So to think that there wouldn't be a ton of evolution would be silly on our part.
Even during the rest of the season, you can see that, or you expect to see that change?
Yeah, I think with us, we have an identity and a style of play that we're trying to grow, and we've been trying to grow. When you add a player of that caliber, to think that that's not going to take time, right? You look at any of these top teams around the league, there's continuity is a big word that doesn't get discussed enough, and that's something that we are early in the stages for different reasons in the earliest stage with him. But there's some exciting potential to see on the way.
Thank you.
Thanks.